Hello and welcome to Tabletop 24. I'm down here again at Manuscrew. We're playing some Flesh and Blood, and I'm with Ben, one of our local players and one of the Crazy Brew crew down here. We've got our Monday Night Armory going on, you can probably hear in the background, with some other games going on as well. But I wanted to take a moment and talk to a few of the players just about pre-release, Tales of Aria, and also some of the stuff that they're getting up to with their decks, all with potential nationals looming and meta changes looming. So, Ben, you attended pre-release this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, how did you find it?
Good. I ended up doing two pre-releases. First one was absolutely great. I played a Bride deck, which seemed really strong. Ended up going about 3-1. I just missed out on the top bracket for the mats and stuff, but really found that really fun. And then I came to do one at home base at Manuscrew. Didn't go quite as well. I started with an Oldham deck, had a couple of Majestics. Couldn't really go off with any big combos or anything, so I swapped to Lexi for the last few rounds and just played a little bit more casually and a bit more fun. But the games are great, and everybody here was great, so it was really fun.
Oh, good. So obviously with the Tales, there's a little bit of a change, and there's these sort of dual wielding heroes. How did you find the packs in the two different pre-releases?
Yeah, it was a relatively balanced format. It seemed that Brio seemed to be more popular than most. Probably because the arcane damage seemed like a big factor in this. Mostly because it's tied to like legendaries for the arcane barrier and stuff. But no, definitely Brio seemed popular. But I think that all three classes were viable, competitive, and I think for draft it's going to be really, really good quality. Because you'll be able to pick up the key cards that you need. Like Lexi could go off with like some really like long strings of combos, similar to like Ninja does. And Oldham could be very, very tanky, especially with that defense reaction. But no, Briar definitely was a standout, especially in sealed, just purely for like arcane ping here, arcane ping there, and Rosetta's Fawn for a base weapon, brilliant.
Yeah, nice. And some of the weapons that have come out are quite nice, and obviously a lot of the weapons you can use in the older heroes from the previous sets as well. Yeah. So when we get into sort of Blitz and classic constructors, you're going to see some.
Yeah, we don't speak of Shane.
No. So with that, was there any particular card that stood out for you? Was there any like sort of win maker out there for you this weekend?
Not really, actually. That's actually quite a very good question. With Briar, it was just the setup, consistency of just getting a non-attack action, an attack action, and then Rosetta's Fawn. Rosetta's Fawn was definitely the win maker of this set for me. Okay. With Lexi, it was kind of like the red arrows, because her ability was a key for me. Just being able to, I should say, Shiva's ability, just to go for a dominate 5 attack and then an additional effect on top of that. Mm-hmm. It just means that they're either hamstrung or they're pushed back. Oldham, I think it was probably just sitting back and his defense reaction of making them put a card on top of their deck, if it's a nice one, was the key. So actually it's the heroes and equipment, I think, were the strongest cards in this. Okay. Mostly because I think the cards to get the most out of them, fusing was the difficult part.
Right. And was there anything that just didn't do what you expected, or just didn't go where you wanted it to?
Probably my Oldham deck on the second pre-release. I pulled the, I can't remember, it basically makes a cranial crush. You have to do, if you hit, your opponent has to discard 2 cards. And I found that I was struggling because all of my big attacks cost like 3 or 4, and because it has to be a Guardian attack, I didn't have enough blues to make it work. So I discovered this after like the first round that I was just never going to hit that combo. It was Dreamland. So with Oldham, just swing with a hammer, be a little bit more defensive, and wait for your opening to come in with those big 10 dominates on the glacial footsteps and stuff like that.
Okay. So obviously we've got pre-release. We're going to have a release weekend coming up, and then we'll start to see the meta sort of shift. And with people's eyes on nationals, what do you think, and what's your take going into nationals? Do you think there's going to be a lot of people? I know obviously we've got the sealed in the drafting nationals, and then we've got the classic constructed. But do you think you're going to see a lot of Tales heroes in the constructed, or do you reckon people will stick with what they know?
I think people will probably stick with Chain for now, if they are playing Chain. I think Briars will be the experimental thing of one to watch. Lexi, I think, will definitely be one to watch. I think Oldham's going to take a little bit longer to figure out, because I think it's going to be finding that right balance of earth, actions, and all that kind of balance, especially with the blues and reds, and that's going to be like a whole nother level. Similar with Briar, I think getting the right mix of attack, non-attack actions, I think with that kind of time difference, Chain will still be the most popular deck and probably just keep chugging on. but I am scared of Brio in the future.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are, and obviously even then you've got the Runeblade cards that are backing up the previous Runeblades,
Yeah.
Chain and Viscerai. So that's great. So we're talking on to a lot of what's been going on with sort of prepping and classic constructing. You've had a bit of a long Tory journey with building a Katsu deck recently.
Yeah, so it's actually been a very fast-paced build to a Katsu deck, but it's been a distant love affair of Katsu. So came down from the store about 4 months ago, played the Aria deck, loved it, loved all the just kind of like bam, 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 I've hit you for lots. So it was quite good. And Katsu was just the evolution of that. I love the combo lines. I'm a Magic player originally, so definitely knowing carding decks and kind of that kind of ability to reference cards is a massive boon for me. And Katsu, when you hit, and not knowing when you're going to hit sometimes, and going, I need to search for a card, having that memory is actually a little bit of a benefit. Because sometimes the turn will not go exactly how you want, and you have to kind of go to your backup combo line. So yeah, that's how I've kind of approached Katsu, building it not quite quickly of just finding a couple of lists I like, merging them together, finding what cards I do like and what cards I don't like, tinkering with it, and I finally found a list I'm quite happy with. I'm doing quite well with it. I'm not particularly anywhere near the level of the top players in the store, but I feel like I can give them a run for my money on a good day.
Yeah, no, obviously coming up with a bit of confidence there from a win he's just taken away up top in our armory event. So,
yeah,
that was good there. So thanks, Ben. Thanks for popping on. Thanks for sitting down and chatting with me about what's going on. Yeah. So carry on, enjoy your event, and we'll catch you next time.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
Cheers. Take care.
Bye-bye.